All right, the Sorta Sports podcast presents The Big Salad.
If it was a regular salad, I wouldn't have said anything. But you had to have that big salad!
Hosted by the one and only Quinn Maseko.
Thank you, George, and thank you, Ryan. And we hope you had a great spring break. Ryan's back from his undetermined destination, as we left it a mystery last time when we went away. Don't worry.
I don't want anybody following me to Greece.
Don't worry. I was still here. I didn't get to mow any lawns, though. But I did get to go out and do some landscaping, because that's what I need in my life, my outdoor life.
He did not join me on my vacation to Uganda.
He didn't go to Uganda.
They don't know that.
Nope. Maybe you went to Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho. Well, in today's episodes, Bruce Arians retires. Major League Baseball starts on Thursday, and Tiger Woods might not be at the Masters this weekend. We'll begin today with what happened last night and the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. South Carolina came out hot and heavy with a 13-2 lead over my Huskies and ended up winning a 64-49 decision for their second national championship in the last 5 years. So, Ryan, what were your takeaways from last night's game?
Well, watching it, they went on this big run. I texted you at the end of the third quarter. I was like, okay, UConn's going to come back. Beckers hit a three. Fudd hit a three. They were rolling. And then after that, South Carolina just felt like they'd go on 6-point scoring runs, timeout, UConn, 6-point scoring run by South Carolina, timeout, UConn. Pretty soon, it was like a 15-point game.
Yep.
And I was like, well, that's it. 11-1 is what I texted you.
Yes. All good things must come to an end.
Well, now, she's undefeated, though. South Carolina's coach.
Yep.
2-0.
Yep, undefeated, 2-0. Dawn Staley. She actually is, well, she's technically 2-1 in NCAA championships.
Because she lost in college?
She lost as a player for the University of Virginia.
Isn't she a WNBA champion, too, I think?
I don't know if she won a championship in WNBA.
I think she did.
You gotta think, but also when she left college in 93 or 94. So, the WNBA didn't even start until 99.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. You're already losing most of your prime years.
Don't look at this. I'm setting stuff up for my special section
Okay,
later.
I'm not looking, but I am looking up Dawn Staley.
It's a quiz today.
Oh, it's a
quiz.
Well, I got a quiz for you, too, so don't worry. In the Quinn's special section that is in Ron.
Oh, boy.
So, but, I mean, my takeaway is South Carolina had a great game plan. They came out hot and heavy and fast, and once they got that 11-point lead to begin the game, there was no slowing them down after that. It was a consistent lead. Yes, it narrowed down to 5 or 6 at one point, but then they would widen it back up. And they had a great game plan because with South Carolina's team, it is just size everywhere. You're replacing Aaliyah Boston or Victoria Saxton, who's 6'4", who they're both 6'4", 6'5", with another 6'3", 6'4" girl. And UConn could not supplement that size because Aaliyah Edwards, who's 6'2", 6'3", and Olivia Nelson-Adota, who's 6'5", were the only two bigs there. Dorka Uhas was lost to a broken wrist in the Elite Eight. So no rotation there whatsoever. And what I'm going to say is that I think Paige Beckers can't do everything for that team either. And they played very good off-ball defense on her to keep her from getting the ball back after she started the set. So, and AZ Fudd was sick. It was compounded by they were a lesser team already. They had extra things where Avina Westbrook got injured, AZ Fudd sick, Uhas out. Those kinds of things compounded into a big loss. Which is still nothing to sneeze at for making for being runner-up in the national championship game. So
no, yeah, it's like,
I mean, UConn
when you're consistently that good, people are like, oh, they lost in that national title. I mean, come on. It was a national title.
Right. And I say, I mean, UConn standards would be, that's
one game too shy.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. And let's
One game
also
shy.
remember that the men's and women's programs combined at Connecticut were undefeated in the championships game at, I believe at 15-0 before last night. So that's what
Interesting.
happens.
Okay.
Aaliyah Boston actually didn't really have that great of a game. She had a double-double. I think she had 10 and 11. Or 11 and 11. But it was really Destiny Henderson, the point guard for South Carolina, who destroyed UConn. She had a career high, I believe, 25 points. And she was the X factor for South Carolina because she consistently scored for them, while Aaliyah Boston was getting beat up down low instead, which makes it interesting. But now Gino has something to go off of for next year, and we'll see what happens after the off season and what goes on there.
All right, I'm sorry. I was wrapping up my big. You see, I have a lot of numbers.
Ryan's got numbers, and he's preparing.
Well, just a little preview special section. So it's a two-parter. The first one is baseball focused. Second part is surprise.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, since we talked about the women's basketball championship from last night, let's talk about what the key points are for tonight's NCAA men's basketball championship game between the Kansas Jayhawks and the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Well, I really like the way the Kansas team plays. They're very fast-paced, yet they move the ball around. They're not fast-paced in the sense of we're going to give it to our one guy, he's going to drive in, or we're just going to run McCormick post up every game, and he's going to get it. He's going to get a bucket for us. They move the ball a lot. Like, they kind of play like the Phoenix Suns, it reminds me of. There's a lot of ball movement, but yet it's very fast-paced. They play at a fast clip. And I like watching them. They're a really fun team that way. They've got a lot of NBA talent, I think, that are, like, going the mid-rounds. A lot of really, like, solid players instead of having, like, a star that carries them, and I think that's very interesting. While they don't have a Cade Cunningham or, I guess in this year, like a Paulo Banchero, they have a lot of guys I think will be taken late first round, early second round. And I think that's interesting with Kansas. I mean, a guy like Jalen Brunson drafted a couple years back, mid-draft pick for the Mavericks, starting point guard. He's really good out of Villanova. So he was on the 2018 Villanova National Championship team. So back to what I was saying, though, UConn is very opposite. UConn is we're going to give it to, his name is blanking off my mind, the big guy.
Who are you talking about?
The big guy for UNC.
Why are you talking about Connecticut? You just said UConn.
UNC is what I'm saying. I'm going to say UNC. I'm going to say UNC.
You're talking about Baycott?
Yes.
Armando Baycott?
Yeah. Baycott. The transfer guy. The guy's been everywhere. He's been at 3 different schools.
He has? I thought he'd been there forever.
No, he went to Oklahoma for a year. He was somewhere else before that, and then now he's at UNC. Baycott, they post him up. If he's not open, they shoot a 3.
I think you're talking about Brady Manic, maybe. Maybe that's not me.
No, yes, I am talking about Manic. Sorry, I was talking about Redbeard.
You're talking about Larry Bird, the one.
No, I'm talking about Manic. You're right. Baycott's the big dude. I meant Manic, the tall, skinny dude.
Yes.
Yeah, Baycott's huge. Baycott's like a human Hulk.
Yeah.
Well, the Hulk's human, but you know what I mean.
He's 6'10", 240.
Yeah,
That's what it says.
Baycott's huge. No, Manic has been all over.
Yes.
They both have very harsh last names. Sorry I mixed them. But, yeah, they pretty much...
One starts with a V, another one starts with an M.
Well, no, what I'm saying harsh isn't like hard sounding, like Baycott, Manic.
Yeah.
A lot of harsh syllables.
Hard syllables.
Yeah, so Manic, though, they'll post him up. He tries to get a move. If not, they'll just kick it out, and then Love will shoot a jumper. Like, that's kind of what they've been running.
Yep. I do like Love and Leaky
Love's
Black.
really good.
Yep.
Leaky Black's been
Love
really
Leaky
underrated
Black.
for them.
Yep.
He's very good on defense. But I think Kansas is going to win. I'll tell you that right now.
Well.
And can I go into my Coach K thing really interestingly?
Go.
As soon as Duke got in that game, I was like, I don't know who's going to win this, honestly. I think UConn has a chance. No, UNC has a chance, right?
Yeah.
And then they showed the stat, his career record against UNC, 50 and 49.
49, yeah.
And I turned to my friends, I was like, he's losing.
Yep.
It's like, how perfect is it if he's 50-50? It just felt divine intervention on that one. It felt too perfect, and that's exactly what happened.
Yes. My key points tonight are going to be for North Carolina, you have to keep McCormick off the glass. You have to keep the Kansas Jayhawks off the offensive glass. They get a lot of second chance points and points in the paint. That's going to be a big thing, especially by Abaji driving as well. And you have to, and by the time your balance is, Christian Brown has not been hitting that well from beyond the arc, so you can take that risk maybe of packing it in more than playing on the shooter. For Kansas, push and transition, because they are the faster team. They like to get out in transition on
Yep.
steals off of defensive rebounds, and that's what I think we can see a lot tonight out of Bill Self's team is to get it pushed down the floor, especially with Remy Martin coming off the bench. Him not being in that first wave and coming in the second wave, usually after the under 16 timeout, and coming in, he injects some energy in that team and pushing the ball down the court. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out against the North Carolina defense. So, and I will say also, fun fact is that after both these teams, after Roy Williams left both these teams, whether it was to take another job or retire, they both end up in the national championship game after.
Yeah.
2003 Kansas did against Syracuse, and then and obviously this year after Roy Williams retired, Hubert Davis leads them.
I really like Hubert Davis actually a lot. I've always preferred Duke over North Carolina. I always felt like North Carolina I never really liked. Remember we talked about this last time? But I really like Hubert Davis. Like I feel like he's a really good coach. I really like him.
There you go.
But no, doesn't change my mind. I think the Jayhawks are getting this one. You know what's interesting?
Uh-huh.
It felt like there was this real shift to the guard. And like your big schools where the top prospects went were like Gonzaga now and Arizona, and like Tech was starting to get some guys. It felt like the blue blood schools were kind of changing. Then our Final Four had UNC, Duke, Kansas, three of the most successful programs of all time, and then Nova, who in the last 10 years has been consistently the best. So I just thought it was hilarious. I was like,
Yep, we have blue bloods and new bloods.
no, it's just flat out blue bloods though.
No.
Who's the new blood
Okay. Hold it.
for the Final Four?
Who are the four blue bloods of college basketball?
North Carolina, Duke. Well, they should be now. I mean, over the last 40 years they have been.
Can't.
Oh, so you're going off 1950s blue blood. So it's like
That's
Duke.
all-
So you're going UNC, Kansas, UCLA, and Kentucky?
That's the four. Those are the four.
Not anymore.
Why?
It's changed.
How?
Duke's
of
a better
those-
program than Kentucky.
Three of those are consistent. League blue bloods. Okay? These are new blue bloods, which would be your Duke, your Michigan State, your whoever else.
Villanova.
Your Villanova, and your Gonzaga. You would probably say those are your new bloods. Which you could lump in Arizona there at some point.
Yeah, I think they need a little more time.
Yeah.
They got to win something first. I got something interesting. Did you see Thad Modest going back to Butler?
I did see that.
I thought that was...
Well,
How old is he now?
I think he might be 60.
I thought he retired when he left Ohio State, though.
We have medical issues.
Mm-hmm. I was just surprised.
He's 54.
Yeah, key points for tonight. I agree with you. Just Kansas got to keep it up offensively and really force North Carolina to shoot free throws because that's how they almost lost to Baylor.
Yes.
And if you're going to foul Baycott. I mean, he was missing.
Yep, that he is the worst. He is their worst free throw shooter. Okay. Well, enough basketball because it's springtime. We should be talking about this sport, which is America's pastime.
Yes.
Baseball, and this Thursday opens up this MLB season after the lockout was ended by the owners. And Ryan, who are the teams to watch out according to you this MLB
Well,
season?
my full MLB...
Have you posted it yet?
No, it's coming out this week. I was actually
Okay.
planning on recording this today,
Okay.
and then either tomorrow or
Well, you
Wednesday.
weren't planning on recording this today until 3:30 today, so.
Well, that's true. I was saying I was
Yes.
going to record this, and then within the next 2 or 3 days, I was going to record it. Do you just want me to blow my World Series pick right now? Or you just want me to say it?
I wasn't even going to go that far. I'm just saying which teams you think are going to be good this year.
How about I pick one of every division?
Okay.
That sound fun?
Sure, whatever you want to do. I'm not going to go that
I'll just pick 3 or 4 teams.
Okay.
So the paper champions this year are the Blue Jays. Everybody's going crazy for the Blue Jays.
Okay.
Me and my buddy always pick a team because we work together in the summer, and him and I will always pick a team that we call like our team for the season, that we root for, and because we like the guys there and we like their stuff, we think it's fun to root for them. Then when the playoffs hit, we always pick a different team. We started doing this because in 2019 we both watched the Nationals' big World Series run together, and we were rooting for the Nationals the whole playoff, and that was really fun. So ever since we've done that, last year our team during the regular season was the Rays, and then in the playoffs it became the Brewers, and obviously. Last year's playoffs is legitimately one of the weirdest and most boring MLB playoffs I've seen in a while, and led to a not very interesting World Series. I mean, I was just talking to somebody today about it, where I was talking literally to a baseball coach, and he was like, he agreed with me. He's like, yeah, all your teams that had like interesting narratives, were knocked out early on because your teams that had like stories with them that were intriguing to see were your White Sox, the Dodgers, the Rays, the Red Sox, and the Brewers. And go to the pennant. The only teams out of those left were the I don't think the Rays. Did the Rays make the pennant and they lost to the Stros? No, who played in the ALCS last year?
In the ALCS?
Mm-hmm.
Astros.
I think it was Astros
Red
Rays.
Sox.
It was Red Sox, yes. The Red Sox are the only team.
Yep, remember they went up 2-0.
No.
Up 2-0, and they lost.
Yeah, because it was looking like we were potentially going to get a Red Sox Dodgers World
You
Series
didn't like that.
3 years later.
You didn't want that, though.
Well, no, of course not. If the Dodgers are in the World Series, I'm going to be upset. We almost had the worst Ryan Klinger World Series of all time in 2017, and this is the only good thing that came out of the Astros cheating, which is the fact that they beat the Yankees in Game 7 off that Jose Altuve homer, which I watched live, and it was weird. I was like, he's going to homer this just because they're the Astros. And then he freaking did, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so then we got Astros-Dodgers 2017, and obviously the Astros won. But if we would have gotten Yankees-Dodgers, I mean, that would have been rough times for me. That would have been bad.
It would have been rough times for you.
All right, so I'm circling around the point I should actually be making, which is the Blue Jays. I'm going to go in-depth on everything, so I'll read you off their lineup. I'll lead off. I'm going really in-depth with a bunch of stats and stuff I was reading, because I get really into my baseball. But I'm just going to give you just a nice lineup here of the Blue Jays, because on paper, this team is literally a video game team. Like, you built a team on MLB The Show, and you traded for stars that you liked. That is straight up what this team plays like. They just got guys who mash, and it's going to be a fun team to watch. I can pretty much name you their entire lineup off dome. I don't even really need to go ESPN, but I'm going to load it in just to make sure. Yeah, all right. So, Danny Jansen, solid catcher. Then we get into the big boys. Third baseman, you got Matt Chapman, one of the best third basemen in baseball. Bo Bichette, every year he gets better. And shortstop's in the deepest position in baseball. If he wasn't a shortstop, we'd be talking about him being one of the best second basemen because he's a shortstop. We don't talk about it as much as we should. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., if Shohei Ohtani doesn't exist, people talk about how amazing he was in his MVP year last year, but Shohei Ohtani broke baseball last year, so he obviously had to win that MVP. George Springer, even without cheating, is still a stud. Teoscar Hernandez is quite underrated. People forget how good he is. Gurriel Jr. is really solid in left field. I think it's Cavan Biggio. I actually don't know as much about, but I know he bats like his batting numbers aren't too bad. Then for pitching, they've got Gossman, Barrios, and Ryu. All three of those I like, so I think their relievers are the least sexy part of them. But overall, that lineup, realistically, I was listening to John Boy Media talking baseball. They basically were like, yeah, realistically, if all your pitchers could give up 3 runs, if everybody just gave up 3 runs a game, you'd be fine, because this lineup's going to score at least 5 runs every game. And I completely agree with that. Blue Jays are going to be one of the most exciting teams, if not the most exciting team. But, you know what they say. With baseball, hardly ever does the betting favor or the paper champion win. Hardly ever do the two.
On any sport.
But, especially baseball. I would argue NFL paper champions were the Rams once we hit the playoffs.
Once we hit the playoffs.
But
I'm saying paper champions to start the season.
We're the Browns.
We're the Browns, and where were they?
Yeah.
Out in Lake Erie.
Rams are still talked about as a World Series team. Not World Series. Super Bowl team.
Yeah, that's awesome, yeah. We're going to win a World Series and a Super Bowl.
That'd be quite impressive. And I would hate it because it's a lot of LA. So obviously you got to watch out for the Dodgers like every year. Their team is also like the Blue Jays.
California dreaming again there, Ryan. You
if the Dodgers their coach, did you see what their manager said? He was like,
yes,
we're winning the World Series this year. I'm like, okay, nice. Yeah, you act like it's so freaking easy. The Dodgers spent an entire decade trying to win the World Series. And they couldn't do it until 2020, a shortened season. Which, I'm not trying to take that away from them. They flat out won that World Series. Mookie Betts was playing like the best player in baseball for a little bit there. And then
should still be on the Red Sox roster, but they're dummies.
Well, what goes on there is the fact that it's money and the fact that the MLB doesn't have a salary cap, so then people with the luxury tax and
yes.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But you got to watch out for the Rays, and obviously you got to watch out for the Dodgers. But those are your two sexy teams. Let's get into the teams that aren't as sexy but play some darn good baseball. And that, to me, is summed up the best by the one and only Tampa Bay Rays, which I love the Tampa Bay Rays, except the only thing I don't love about Tampa Bay Rays is the fact that their players union is very anti-Tampa Bay Rays. They're kind of the worst about tricking systems so they can pay players less than they're worth, or not paying or trading guys on a certain time so they can, and that's not good. But I mean, you can't argue the success that they have in their very Moneyball statistic-based system. And I think that makes them one of the most interesting teams every year. Every year it feels like they've always just got studs, and they finally got like a face now with Wander Franco along with Randy Arozarena. Two guys I really like. You know I love Arozarena, and then you know I love Wander Franco. I've been watching that guy since he was on the Durham Bulls. So, I mean, look at this lineup. Brandon Lau, you know who he is. He's a good defensive second baseman. Zunino is always really – the Rays always, like we talk about, turning over a lot of players. This year, they've really kept a lot of guys. I mean, Franco, still there. Austin Meadows, still there. Brett Phillips has been there for a bit. And then right here, Arozarena isn't playing yet, but Arozarena's obviously been there. No, he's in right there. I see him now. Manny Margot's been there. G-Man Choi's been there. Yandy Diaz has been there. Kevin Kiermaier, I'm pretty sure was there last year too. So I'm saying they've actually, for once, kept guys. Obviously, their pitchers are completely different than last year because they're the Rays. But I think the Rays, as always, are a threat. Then I really think the AL's stronger this year, though, because I think my Super Bowl, my World Series pick is coming out of the AL. You know what it's going to be, and so you're wearing those socks are black, but yeah, the White Sox obviously. I have the White Sox. Obviously winning the World Series, but I'll go more into that. This is essentially like a miniature preview of my MLB predictions. So the White Sox genuinely might buy MLB TV just to watch White Sox games. Like, I mean, come on, they're so much fun to watch, and my mother's also becoming a Tigers fan now, so like.
Well, she loves the city of Detroit.
She does, so I think she might go Tigers.
Excuse me, Detroit.
Yeah, and so they're not in our blackout zone, so she could technically watch those off MLB TV, which would be pretty cool. Oh. Yeah. The only teams I'd miss is Reds, Indians, and Pirates, and I can't watch those anyway because it's like, well, I don't have Bally because I'm not a direct TV guy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But we only get Cleveland, Cincinnati. We don't get Pittsburgh or Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Now, another team that's like the Rays that I'd watch out for because they're dangerous every year, and people are sick of seeing them be dangerous, even though they've lost a lot of pieces. But they just seem every year to figure it out, and that's the Astros. The Astros also just figure it out. I mean, Kyle Tucker's getting MVP chatter, and I don't blame him. I mean, the Astros always work it out. So you got to watch out for the Stros. I'm going to say the White Sox. I'm going to go really in-depth on the White Sox. So I'm not going to talk a ton about them here because I obviously think they're very good. National League, really the Dodgers are the main one. I think the Padres could go on a run this year. I like what the Mets have going on. I'm not buying into the Braves back-to-back narrative because I think the Braves are going to be a good regular season team. I don't really think they're going to go super far in the playoffs just because it's very hard to repeat, and I think last year wasn't really supposed to be their year, but yet they got it. Now that it's supposed to be their year, you know what I mean? I don't think they can do that again. So that's really I went from there. I'm trying to think if there's any other teams looking around that I was really think the Brewers are intriguing, but I don't think it's really their time yet. I think the Padres, if they take a next step, could be good. And I have a couple teams that I like in the NL East that I'm going to talk more about later on my show. But I will say coming out of the NL, it's a bit of a surprise, but I 100% believe that if you said take out the Dodgers from the NL, the three best teams in the league are in the AL after that. If you said top four teams in the league, I would say Dodgers, Blue Jays, Rays, White Sox, and three of those are AL. The fifth team, I would maybe go Mets. You could maybe talk me in. No, I think probably I'd go Mets for the fifth team. So there's kind of my thoughts on MLB. I'm very excited for the season. I want to see Juan Soto bat over 400. I think he can do it. He's a stud. I mean, Juan Soto is amazing. So I love Juan Soto. And yeah, I guess I don't really know what else to say other than that, is that I'm very excited for the season. I obviously am a big MLB guy, and I really can't wait to see what goes on.
Well, I'm going to tell you the three divisions I'm looking at, they're going to be most competitive Well, none of them are in the Central. We'll just say it that way. I think there'll be 2 teams that'll sift to the top and win each Central division.
Well, I think the Central's the 2 worst divisions anyway.
Yes, the Centrals are 2 worst divisions.
There's really only one team in each that are any good.
The NL Central used to be the best.
Yeah, I'm saying right now, the Reds and Pirates and Cubs, none of them are any good.
And the
Cardinals are average, and the Brewers are good.
Yes, and if we look at the AL Central, everybody sucks except the White Sox.
And the White Sox are far and away. I mean,
Yes.
it's not like the White Sox are taking advantage of bad division.
The Guardians now have one of the lowest payrolls in the...
They're just pitchers. They're just
Yep.
pitchers. Like,
Yep.
that's all they are.
Well, you got to hit the ball to get some runs.
Well, and you know what always sells to big teams is pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
A big team will always take on another starter, whereas when they have a second baseman, they have a second baseman. They don't need another one.
Yep, I agree.
So I'm saying if Shane Bieber's available at the deadline and, the Mets say, we're getting Shane Bieber, it's a big difference.
Yep.
Then you'd have Scherzer, Bieber, DeGrom,
I know.
3 Cy Youngs in the same building.
Yes. I'm going to say, so my first competitive division, AL East, it's very competitive between
Oh, yeah, that'll
everybody
be...
except the Orioles, because let's remember that 3 of those teams only 2 of those teams made the playoffs last year.
Blue Jays were close.
Yes,
They won 91 games.
they did. And, because so did the Yankees, remember? Or they were close. The Yankees were 90.
Close, yeah.
Or 90. Because
Yeah,
everybody was at 91 or 90
Yeah, it was
last
close.
year.
I think the best division is the other East.
Well, I'm going to talk about... No, I'm not going to talk about that at all. So then, yes, you have your points there.
Yeah,
with the Mets
Well,
and
and
the
I
Phillies.
think the Mets went out and finally got I think this might be the year that the Mets really take that playoff step when
Okay,
they.
Steve Cohen.
I'm saying I think he's doing the right moves.
Yeah, he is
The
doing
Braves,
the right
I think, are going to be very competitive.
Yeah.
The Nationals are really the only bad team there, but they also have the best hitter in baseball.
Yes.
And then so that makes them at
You're
least.
saying the Marlins are better than the Nationals?
Yes, and I'll go into that. I'll
Okay,
actually go into
well,
that.
I'm not going to let you ruin that.
I really
so-
actually am kind of drinking the Phillies Kool-Aid. Like when you
know.
look at their team,
Did you like Bryce Harper?
I was looking at some numbers, which is why I have Fangraphs pulled up, and Bryce Harper was blowing me away with some of the stuff he was putting out last year.
The numbers.
So, Bryce Harper and the Phillies. I mean, we look at that Phillies team, though. I mean, you got JT Realmuto. They went out and got Nicholas Castellanos. They got Schwarber.
Yep.
They just
definitely they stocked up. They stocked up
and
the
then
barrel.
pitching wise, they still have Hoskins. No, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Give me a moment. Phillies.
He's doing that. I mean,
Pitchers.
I'm going back to AL East real quick. AL East, I'm going to pick the Red Sox to win the division over your Blue Jays because for some reason I'm just believing Chris Sale and Kike Hernandez. But that's
And well,
me.
I love my boy Xander Bogaerts, so
Yes,
I'm not gonna get
Xander
to it.
Bogaerts you can deny.
I'm looking at here. Okay, so Zach Wheeler, obviously, going to be amazing. Aaron Nola, that's what I was thinking of. And Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola could be a stud sometimes. Didi Gregorius did not have a very good year last year.
He
Hoskins
did not.
is, I was mixing up Hoskins and Nola. Hoskins is actually the.
Yeah, but they have Gene Segura.
Hoskins is an infielder for them, I'd think about it. Yeah, but look at this outfield. Schwarber, Harper, and Castellanos.
Yes.
Schwarber's going to hit bombs. Castellanos and Bryce
Schwarber's
Harper.
not going to play in the field, though. Schwarber's going to DH.
Yes, because New Universal DH. But I'm saying Castellanos and Harper are both going to bat over
You're going to
300.
have Herrera in there. It's probably going to be Herrera. Well, Castellanos didn't play center. He usually plays right, and Harper plays right.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be some position battles there.
You know who I also like on this team a lot? I like Alec Baum. I think he can actually have some potential. So just watch out for that. I'm actually really into this Phillies team. I'm going to be really perfectly honest. I think that NL East is the most entertaining division because the Marlins I would not sleep on. The Marlins have quietly one of the best pitching staffs in the league. Mm-hmm. Sandy Alcantara is amazing. He is a stud.
No, I agree.
And
but
then
the problem is they can't.
They got my boy Richard Blyer, absolute stud. Look, his K rate 19.6, incredibly low for a starter, right? Look at his ERA though, 2.95. Mm-hmm. So, and everybody, this team total ERA is 3.96. That's solid. And I mean,
it's called they can't hit the ball.
Trevor Rogers, another pitcher. I mean, these guys are young too. Blyer's the only old one. I'm going to go into Blyer and Alcantara more on my full preview. But the issue is the Marlins is they don't have a lot of bats. I mean, you look at WRC plus, which is weighted runs created, which is basically doing a player's overall value and how many runs they're going to get you on average, 100 being average. Adam Duvall is a 102, making him borderline an average player. Brian Anderson's a 99, and Jazz Chisholm is a 98, and Miguel Rojas is a 97. So based off last year, all these guys are basically average hitters. Jesus Aguilar is slightly above average, 112. The only guy that really pops the bat there is Starling Marte, and I think his was 132. I lost it.
He's not there anymore.
There he is, 138. So, yeah. Weighted runs created plus. I actually really like that stat. I think it's interesting because it's kind of like the all-encompassing offensive stat because the goal of offense obviously to score runs, so it's how many runs does this guy qualify for with 100 being average. So if you got a 200, you'd be worth 2 of the average players.
I'm going to flip over to the AL West.
Okay, sorry.
Now, and go through that division. I think other than the Rangers, the other 4 teams should be very competitive.
Not the A's. The A's are trash.
Why?
Because they got rid of Matt Olson and Matt Chapman. They're 2 best players.
That doesn't mean anything.
The A's will be the worst team in that diviation.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
He's guaranteeing the A's
The Rangers got Marcus Semien.
Yes.
And they actually quietly picked up Corey Kluber.
Yes.
And they got
they got another infielder.
And they got Robbie Ray.
Okay.
Cy Young winner.
Wasn't thinking about Robbie Ray, but I think
I would say 3 of those teams will be competitive. The Rangers will get some wins they shouldn't have.
And you think the A's are going to be trash?
The A's will be terrible.
Okay.
I wouldn't even watch an A's game all year.
They won 90 games last year. We'll see what happens.
They won't win
So I'm going
70.
to say,
They won't win 70.
I'm rooting for the Angels to win 100. That's what I'm.
I would love to see the Angels make the playoffs. I did not predict it though because I predicted them to make it last year and they didn't. And I get upset every year.
I'm not predicting.
I want to see them get in the playoffs. I would love to see it. The Astros are going to get out of it.
I'm not talking about the playoffs here, folks. I'm just talking about what's going to be competitive.
I would love to see the Angels make a playoff run. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I wish it would.
I got faith in Joe Madden.
I think he's a great manager. I'm literally love that Cubs team.
Yeah.
I mean,
know you do. I know you did. And I'm flipping to the NL West because I think that's the last competitive division in this.
See, the NL East is more competitive than that one.
Why? Tell me why.
Because I just said, I mean, your NL West has the Marlins, Braves. It has 3 playoff teams.
That's the NL East, and by the way.
NL East, sorry. I meant to say NL East.
Yeah, well, what do you...
The NL East has the Braves, who are legit a World Series candidate.
Yes.
The Mets are legit World Series candidate. The Phillies are a playoff candidate.
Yeah.
The Marlins are underrated and going to win some big games. And then the only trash team there is the Nationals, and they have the best hitter in baseball.
Okay, so I'm trashing the Diamondbacks in the West, but you're telling me San Francisco, who was the winningest team in baseball last year.
They're an equivalent to the Phillies.
Along with the Dodgers.
Yep.
Are going to be good. You're telling me the Padres aren't taking a leap, even though...
They are.
So that's 3. And then the Rockies picked up Chris Bryant and has a couple.
The Rockies would say, I think the Rockies are worse than the Marlins. The Diamondbacks are worse than the Nationals.
Okay.
Okay.
So you
I
say
think the Giants and Phillies are equivalent.
I think the Rockies are probably going to be equivalent to the Nationals or whoever the 4th team you have there, the Marlins.
Marlins.
Yeah, I think I can see 85.
Okay.
I can see
if you want to do that, fine.
77. 85,
if you want to do that, fine. I don't think the Rockies will be over 500.
Okay.
But if you want to do that, fine. But I'm saying I think the Padres and Dodgers are better than Mets, Braves. But I think overall the depth of the NL East is more impressive.
Okay.
I think the Giants might have flat out the best manager in baseball. But
yes, Gabe Kaplan.
Yeah, he's amazing, and I'm saying they should not have been as good as they were last year, and I really gave him props. But I don't know if they can do it again with how good the Dodgers and Padres are going to be.
Well, I don't think they need to win 105 games though. They just need to win 90 to get in.
True. 6 teams.
That's all you need.
Expanded.
Yep, 6 teams. That's all you're going to need.
I've been waiting to talk MLB. That's why I really went off. That's why my special section's MLB.
Yep, you're all
Come on.
All right. Before we head to our game today, let's hear our first word from our sponsor for this week.
Woods is once again number 1 in the world. Is this the year he captures his 5th green jacket? The Masters on CBS.
And Tiger was back at number 1 in 2013 is where we started off today. He wasn't playing like no mere mortal, as Jim Dan said in 2008, 2 weeks ago. So, as we get started on our Masters promos, let's head into What's the Word today and what's first over the loudspeaker. Todd Bowles' retirement was blank when Bruce Arians announced... I'm sorry. Todd Bowles' candidacy as head coach was blank when Bruce Arians announced retirement.
I was really confused for a second there. I was like, Todd Bowles retired. I think... I don't know if it was... I think I want to use the word eminent. Because you knew they were going to promote either him or...
Byron Leftwich.
Leftwich, thank you. I would have went with Leftwich, but I completely understand why you went Bowles, especially because you're a little more offensive-minded last year and probably going into this year. You don't have, the defense wasn't as strong as it was back in 2020. So I understand that. Well, yeah, 2020, I had to think about it. And then, so I think it was imminent. I felt like that was kind of the plan they had set up. I do wonder, did Bruce Arians not get Tom's text that he was coming back? I just thought it was so odd that Tom comes back and then Bruce is like, I'm retiring. It's like, did he not get Tom's text?
I think he's old. I think it's called he's old and he's had medical issues and it's time for him to go.
I guess.
I think he went earlier at one point with when he was in Arizona. My word's going to be pre-planned because I think this was it's kind of like I should say the 25th Amendment when a president dies, who goes up next, and that's exactly what happened. Arians left and they already had it pre-planned to see who was already going to send.
So he's the Lyndon B. Johnson of this.
Yes, of JFK's presidency. So, I'm going to say I think Bowles is a very highly qualified coach. I'm looking forward to him taking the reins here. Obviously, now Tom Brady coming back changes the factors of how that season was going to go for Tampa Bay. So, I think it'll be good to see him buckle down and be together. And also, I'd like to commend Bruce Arians because he said it deliberately in his last press conference that he was committed to diversity, whether it went racial equity or sexual equity, with having women also on his coaching staff. So kudos to them as him as promoting those position coaches to try to get them further along in their careers. Next, it means blank for LeBron's legacy that the Los Angeles Lakers are missing this season's playoffs.
I don't know a way for this to fit in grammatically. I don't say hurtful. Because, I've talked a lot on the podcast about LeBron's legacy and how I think The Last Dance really made people get a little more critical of LeBron, put MJ in a lot of people's minds, and then with Kobe's death, a lot of people looked back on him more. And it feels like the LeBron argument, after the 2020 season, it was starting to go a little more his way. Like, okay. And then they got this the team looked even better going into 2021, and then they disappointed. But people were like, oh, they might make a run on the Suns, and they got out of the first round of playoffs. This year, probably not even going to make playoffs. So, realistically, if LeBron James just plays out the rest of his career in LA and never wins another finals, I think he's firmly cemented as second or third all time. And even if he breaks Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record of most points, I don't think people are going to put him over MJ. I know you're putting thumbs down, but he's probably statistically he's probably going to. I know, but statistically he's on track. I mean, he's on track to do it.
Happen now. What if
he's averaging 30 points.
I know.
And he is 36 years old. Not 36. He's born in 85, so it'd be, he's 36.
36, going to be 37.
He's going to be 37.
Let's also remember, Kareem had 4 years of college as well, so that's what takes away from his legacy.
I know that, but I'm saying people measure great. Here's the thing with numbers. And I was watching a really good Jimmy High Roller video on YouTube that was about the GOAT debate. I would recommend everybody goes and watch it. He's pretty much renowned as the best NBA YouTuber. He's very good. Jimmy High Roller. He made a really interesting video about the GOAT debate. And he was basically saying, he's like, while Wilt has the numbers to support, he used Wilt and Bill Russell to kind of mirror LeBron and MJ at one point. He's like, Wilt might have all the numbers, but he doesn't have as many accomplishments. And he's like, people, accomplishments, numbers kind of, numbers are there to complement the accomplishments, not the other way around. Mm-hmm. And he's like, moments such as MJ's big shot over the Jazz, or, his 6 titles, things like that stick in people's mind and are seen as greatness more than, hey, LeBron had the most points than anybody ever. Mm-hmm. If LeBron, that is an additive, and I think greatness is more measured by accomplishments along with numbers, whereas Brady doesn't hold every record in the league. but Brady's seen as the greatest because he's got some numbers that are very impressive, along with accomplishments. Because if you were going to go solely off numbers, then you would say Rodgers is the best player in the league, period. Him or Mahomes. And I think greatness is also accomplishments with numbers. And it looks like LeBron's not going to have, I think his accomplishments are quite impressive. I mean, he's definitely, but I'm saying I think his accomplishments don't pop off the page as much as MJ's. I think MJ's got greater moments. I think MJ's public perception is a lot stronger, with people really believing his like mentality. Whereas LeBron, I think, hurts his public perception a lot. I know a lot of people perceive him as very whiny nowadays because of the way he acts about when he was like, the whole thing where he's like, this was the hardest playoffs of my life. And people perceive him as very, I don't know, like, hey guys, look at me. I'm really good, aren't I? And people, I think, have gotten tired of that. And I think that's really hurt his legacy. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing where I think public opinion on, like, especially younger NBA fans, I think they respect more Curry and Giannis and guys like that who are really at the start of their really impressive careers. I mean, I was reading something today, it's like if Giannis wins the finals again, and he might be getting another MVP here and Defense Player of the Year, which would be crazy to do that twice. And, yeah, I'm going to record the NBA playoff predictions along with awards next week. So I've got kind of a stacked slate because you and I are obviously going to record next week too. So I've got 4 episodes coming out in 2 weeks. But, Giannis is probably already the second greatest power forward of all time, right behind Tim Duncan. And so I think it's interesting. There's a lot of respect thrown his way. I think people are really in respect of those players, and I think LeBron's legacy is really quite damaged. And I don't know if he can really repair it, because if he goes to Cleveland or he goes to the Warriors or he goes to some team and wins the finals, people will see that as, oh, he had to run to mom and get saved by Curry, or he had to go to the Cavs and poach their young talent, or he had to go to the Bucks and team up with Giannis. Pray he doesn't do that. But I don't really think this was his team more than any other team he's ever had. That's where all the lay GM memes come from. And he has failed this team, both as a GM but not really as a player. From a playing perspective, he's been a stud, but his more off-court GM stuff really damaged them. I mean, he was the one who wanted Melo and all that. So I think it's a bit of a mess, and I really think, and I'm like, I remember thinking what Bill Simmons said. He's like, if Curry gets 5 rings when he retires, or when do we start putting over LeBron? And I'm like, we're starting to hit a point with the Curry's accomplishments are becoming quite impressive, and they're a little more magical than LeBron's. LeBron's magical element, I think, is very much wore off. And I think he feels a lot more, I don't think down to earth's the right word, because people don't feel like he's down to earth, I think. But he doesn't feel special, I don't think, to a lot of people now. And I think that's a big thing when it comes to legacy, because people want to remember players as legends. And, I think LeBron's really losing that, and this is making him look, I don't want to say weak, because he's playing an incredible basketball level, but from a surely greatness perspective, he's not looking good right now.
Yeah, my word's going to be free fall, because as Tom Petty once sang, he is free falling.
Free falling, and I like Tom Petty a lot.
Only winning 4, in my opinion, only winning 4 championships, going 10 trips in the finals as well.
What do you mean, my opinion? Yeah, he only has 4 rings.
That's what I'm saying. I am saying.
Oh, you're saying he's not going to win anymore.
I'm justifying that people still just say, well, he's won 4 rings, but he's went there 10 times, so he's won 4 out of 10. That's not very good in my opinion. And obviously, like you stated, he created this team. They had old shiny toys is what he brought to the LA Lakers, and old shiny toys are not getting the job done, because if we look at the 2 top teams in the West, both of them actually have had their starting point guards out for weeks at a time at some point later in this year, and the Suns are the top. They're going to have the best record in the association this season, and then the Grizzlies are going to be solidly in the 2 seed, it looks like, in the West. So
it's pretty sweet.
I don't know what else to say other than I think LeBron, what his pure focus is and why he's putting up 30-35 every night now is to get to number 2 by the end of this season, which he already has, beating the mailman Karl Malone, and now to chase after Kareem next year.
And he might be the statistical GOAT when he retires. Like, honestly, he might have the most eye-popping numbers. But, I mean, people don't... I'm trying to think. There are some guys with baseball that have incredible numbers. And I think Bonds, obviously the steroid thing, factors in. But I'm saying let's take out the steroids of Bonds and pretend he was just a normal player with incredible stats. People might say he was a statistical GOAT, but I think people would still put like Babe Ruth and Willie Mays and guys like that over them because of the World Series wins, and Bonds never had one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Guys like that. And I think that's where I'm starting to worry about Trout. I'm like, Trout's got to get a World Series or two in there. So then it's not just, well, he was a stats guy. Mm-hmm. So,
no, I agree. Next! Last one. Tiger Woods' game time decision for the Masters this weekend is blank.
I would say important. I know it's not very interesting for me to say, but I mean, that's going to really boost their ratings. And, I mean, Tiger Woods is the biggest name in golf because he's the best golfer ever. And he's an icon. I mean, wearing a red shirt like that with pants like that is literally known as, like, the Tiger Woods outfit. Partially because of Parks and Rec when they talk about it like that. That's Ron Swanson's outfit after he has a nice night. And, yeah, so I think it's very important for them. They really hope he plays, but, I mean, it's up to Tiger.
My word is potentially uneventful, and the same reasons as you, because we already have no Phil Mickelson, as we discussed 2 weeks ago, and not knowing the full reason for that. But now, if no Tiger is there, it really turns down the heat on what goes on, because Tiger will be going for his 6th green jacket, and we don't know what kind of physical shape Tiger still is in. You know, it hurt when he walked, his back and his legs hurt extremely when he did the father-son tournament with his son Charlie, and I don't know how fully recovered his health is ever since his tragic car accident he had last year. So it'll be interesting to see.
I mean, that was February 2020. 2021. That really wasn't that long ago. For him to, you know what I mean, turn around, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a year.
That's crazy.
It's only been a little more than a year. So, and it was such dramatic and graphic injuries is what the thing is, and what the muscles that are being used in golfing, your back, your legs to push the ball, to drive the ball. If he has no muscle buildup or its weakness still there, and it's going to be painful for him to actually physically do this. So I don't know if he's really there in the best shape.
Weird thing I wanted to point out. I just find it so odd. Like, the biggest golf event is one that's not associated with the PGA. I just think it's odd. Like, could you imagine if, like, the biggest NFL game was, like, the Joe Montana Classic, where he just got together all these players to play? I just think it's odd.
Well, I hear you.
I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Yeah.
I think it's odd.
All right. This time, we'll visit 2017 in Augusta.
A tradition unlike any other, the Masters on CBS.
It's just beautiful to see the springtime flowers there in coastal Georgia, along in that golf course. And as we move on from golf, it's time for Ryan's special section of the day. I heard it's about numbers and it's got 2 parts. So
all right, so here's the baseball part. I need you to turn your chair around. All right, Quinn. So I was looking for I was just screwing around looking on some fan graphs. I was looking at some weighted runs created plus, and I got real curious. I was like, you know, of all, like in the last 6 years, let's go 2015 to now, who had the strongest weighted runs created plus scores? So, Quinn, you can turn around now. Just don't look at the computer, because I realize now you have to talk into the mic. So just keep your eyes closed. Thank you. Right now, come close to the mic. All right. So this was without minimum batting. I mean, minimum plate appearances.
And this is from 2015, 2021.
Yep, in between there. What player, you don't have to tell me the year.
It just has to be a year, a specific year.
It's going to be a specific year. I split the seasons. It's not like of all the years.
Okay.
So, what player do you think had the highest WRC plus without any plate appearance, minimum? It was a 201 weighted runs created plus, which means he's worth more runs than 2 players combined. So, who do you think it was? If you can't get it off the first couple guesses, I'll tell you the year.
Okay, I'm thinking. I don't know why I want to say Miguel Cabrera, but it's not him.
Definitely not Miguel Cabrera.
And, I'm thinking. This is a tough one. I'm going to say...
You thinking?
I am thinking. I got a couple in my mind, but I can't decide which one I'm going to go first with.
All right, Quinn. So come on, let's go. Spit something out. Let's go.
I'm spinning. Okay. Cody Bellinger.
Nope.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Nope. It was a 2020 hitter. He had 196 plate appearances. In a moment, I'm about to make it so the minimum's 200. So he's going to be gone.
It's 2020, 196 plate appearances.
He only played 47 games.
He only played 47 games, so that's tougher.
But he's a stud. You know who he is.
Not Bryce Harper. He wasn't injured. I know who he is. Oh.
All right, I'm going to have to tell you, Quinn. 3.
Freddie Freeman.
Nope.
Pete Alonso.
2020 Juan Soto with an on-base percentage of 490 and a batting average of 351 that year. That's nuts. Now, let's just knock him out of here, make it 200 minimum plate appearances. It really shouldn't be.
It really should be.
It really should be. But I just thought it was fun that he was there. So minimum 200 plate appearances. Now we're getting a little more realistic. It's reloading, and boom. Sorting by weighted runs created plus. Who do you think is now the highest with 197? You can guess the year or you can guess the player. I'll give you a hint. It was an MVP year. This guy won an MVP.
Is it 2017?
Nope.
We're going between 15 and 21?
Mm-hmm.
2019.
Nope. One more guess. I'm going to have to tell you the year. And the player.
Doesn't mean I know. I probably don't know.
You want to hear it? He batted .330 with an on-base percentage of .460. He was having a freaking year.
Well, it's not Juan Soto.
42 homers, 99 RBIs.
It sounds like Aaron Judge, but it's not.
No. If it was Aaron Judge, his batting average would not be .330.
Oh, yes, I guess it wouldn't be.
2017 Aaron Judge is actually on here in the 12th spot, and his batting average is .284.
I know he had 99 RBIs that one year.
Yes, he had 114. The answer is 2015 Bryce Harper.
Really?
That MVP year, he had 197 weighted runs created plus. Then
I didn't know he had the MVP. He was the MVP.
So then look at these guys right behind him. 2018 Mike Trout. We expect to see you here, Mike. We'll see you again here in a moment. 2020 Freddie Freeman right there with 186. Mike Trout 2018 had 188. Then Mookie Betts 2018 for the Red Sox. He won an MVP, was 185. Mike Trout 2017 Los Angeles Angels won 180. Marcell Ozuna in 2020 178. 2020 DJ LeMahieu 177. 2019 Mike Trout 177. 2019 Yordan Alvarez. 176.
There's your boy at number 11.
Oh, yeah, I see him. Don't worry, we're getting to that. Christian Yelich, 2019, 174. And my guy, Joey Votto. He was only batting .314. Quite a low clip, I'm kidding. But, 174 weighted runs created plus. Any other names that really pop out? Nelson Cruz being on here in 26 and 27 spot. Good for him. Byron Buxton, 2021, had a 169. He definitely could have won MVP if he would have played more than 61 games. Any other guys that really pop out here? Jose Ramirez in 2020 was a 166 weighted runs created plus. Find that interesting. A lot of these 2020 guys are here because, if you got hot, you were just hot the whole season. If you were cold, you were cold the whole season. Now I decided to do from all time.
Okay.
Who do you think has all time the highest runs created plus out of any player any year? Because they're split seasons. It's 244, which is nuts.
Okay. I think it's either got to be Lou Gehrig.
Okay.
Ted Williams.
Okay. Homers do get favored here, though.
See, that's the problem. So Barry Bonds could be favored. It's got to be between those three.
It is 2002 Barry Bonds.
Okay. See?
Right behind him is Babe Ruth. Then you get Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth.
Oh, how about Rogers
The
Hornsby?
first 6 spots are all Babe Ruth and Barry Bonds.
Bonds or Babe.
Then Ted Williams is 7th. 8th is Roger Hornsby. Now cover up your eyes. Now, out of who do you think is the first active player to be on here?
Active right now. I want to say... I always want to lean towards Miguel Cabrera. I don't know why.
What season of Miguel Cabrera are you thinking about?
I'm thinking Triple Crown year.
In Triple Crown year?
Because I'm pretty sure he had 39 homers and 144 RBIs that year.
So you're going Miggy Cabrera.
I'm trying to run through everybody that's in the league.
2013 is Triple Crown season?
I'm trying to run through everybody in the league.
It is Miguel Cabrera.
See, I was right.
2013. He had 348 batting average, a 442 OBP. His weighted runs created plus is a 193.
Oh, see, I 44 homers, 137.
Yep, and then my guy Ricky Henderson, love Ricky Henderson. He batted 325 that year. Good for Ricky. And then around here, I know somewhere, I think on the next page, somewhere in the 120s would be Bryce Harper, and then 2003 Albert Pujols.
Yeah, there he is.
Here's the really impressive one. 2018 Mookie Betts.
185.
Yeah, so I just thought that was interesting. So yeah, there you go.
There you are.
I thought you'd find that fun, just some random stuff.
Yeah.
Now, Quinn.
Yeah. Are you ready for me?
Here's another guessing game we're going to play real quick.
Another guessing game? Okay.
Last year, we played a game. That was...
But we did.
We played the WrestleMania thing where I pulled up superhero or...
This should be a game for Dalton.
Well, he knows all the wrestlers. So why would that be a game? What the heck? Here, look away. Look away.
I'm looking away.
I changed it up. You ready? You ready for this?
I'm not ready.
This WrestleMania had a lot of celebrity guests, so you might know some of the people on here. So
Vince McMahon was just on there last night.
Yes. So I am going to have you. I'm going to read you the match card. And you're going to guess who won based off solely the names alone.
Okay.
Now, granted, you might not know some guys. There might be some matches where you have no clue who these guys are. But that's what'll be fun. And so here we go. We're starting with night one. It was a 2-night show. So give me a moment for it to load in.
Okay.
All right. We had the Uso twins.
How many matchups do we have?
I think there was like 15 matches. So I'll pick some of them. I'm not going to do all.
Nine or together. Okay.
I'll pick some. We won't do all of them.
Okay.
All right. So first off, we have Logan Paul and The Miz versus Rey and Dominic Mysterio. You know Rey Mysterio? You're turning around. Close your eyes. Just turn around. Keep your eyes closed. You got to talk into the mic.
Say that name again. Logan who?
Logan Paul and The Miz versus Rey and Dominic Mysterio.
And who's the celebrity and who's the wrestler?
Logan Paul.
Is that what we're doing? What are we doing?
I'm reading off the matches.
Right? Okay.
I'm reading off the matches.
Logan Paul.
It was a tag team match.
I know, but Logan Paul is not technically a wrestler. He's UFC.
Yes, I am saying, Quinn, he was the celebrity.
Okay, that's what I wanted to say.
I'm picking some matches, and you're guessing who won.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not saying who I'm winning. I'm saying who's winning. I'm not guessing who's a celebrity and who's a wrestler. That's what I was doing.
No. I'm changing it this year because there's celebrities on here.
All right. So
you get to guess if they won or not.
Okay.
Essentially.
Logan Paul and who?
The Miz versus Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Who do you think won? The Mysterios or Logan Paul?
The Mysterios.
No, Logan Paul.
Why would I choose that?
Beat them. I know, right? So I'm just picking some of these matches. We have Cody Rhodes from the Big Show fame, the Go Big Show.
Don't know that.
It's on TNT. It's a show. We have Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. You have no concept of either of these guys. Who do you think won?
Seth Rollins.
No, I'm sorry. All right, Ronda Rousey faced Ric Flair's daughter, Charlotte Flair.
I should be picking Ronda Rousey, but it's probably Charlotte Flair.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair beat Ronda Rousey because there's a good amount of celebrities. I thought you'd have a concept, so you can just take some random picks. All right, Stone Cold Steve Austin returned.
Oh, done. It's Stone Cold.
In Texas, too. This WrestleMania was in Texas.
Okay.
So do you think he won? The
Yeah.
Texas Wrestling? Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Stone Cold won. All right, great job.
You can't be against Stone Cold.
Next one. You're not interested in those. Johnny Knoxville
Okay.
fought Sami Zayn with a wee man also appeared from.
I don't know who that is.
He's on the show.
Jackass?
Yeah, he's from there. So Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. Johnny Knoxville's obviously a celebrity. You think he
Yes.
won or lost?
He's so fucking nuts. I'm gonna say yes. Johnny Knoxville won.
Yes, look, here he is. Look at him. There he is. Johnny Knoxville at
Get
WrestleMania.
some hair color
All right,
back in.
close your eyes. Next one. Just trying to scroll through.
scrolling.
I'm looking for some more celebrity matches. Is there any more?
How about
Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee won, which we already know this.
No.
Yeah, he did. That's what he said on the plane.
Listen, he beat Austin Theory.
Who's
Vince
that?
Vince McMahon's like guy that's like in storyline. He's his like mentor.
Security guard.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
no,
right.
whatever.
So Theory lost to Pat McAfee. Then Vince
Yeah.
came out and beat up Pat McAfee.
Well, that's unfair because Pat McAfee was already spent with one match.
I know. Wrestling usually isn't fair. Then look, Stone Cold
Well, it's
came out.
staged anyway, so
Stone
that's how
Cold.
it works.
Yeah, it's also true. Stone Cold came out and hit Vince McMahon with a stunner and hit Pat McAfee with a stunner. Here's Pat McAfee getting hit with a stunner if you want to see it. If it load.
Nope, it won't load because your internet's slow.
Yeah, that's true. Then we had Brock Lesnar. You know who he is.
Nope.
He's a big UFC guy. Versus The Rock's cousin, Roman Reigns. Who do you think won that?
It's probably going to be Lesnar, even though it should be Roman Reigns.
It was Roman Reigns, actually. Roman Reigns
Good,
won.
because that's who I wanted it to win. But then,
You like
usually-
Roman?
Yes, but usually it's the people that you don't choose are the people that you think are obviously are going to win these.
How many did you get right? I think you got...
I didn't get any.
You didn't get any.
No, I got some.
Charlotte Flair. You got Charlotte
I
Flair.
did not count.
You got Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
You got Knoxville.
Uh huh.
And is that it?
I got Ronda Rousey. No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
the Charlotte Flair
It's
one.
Charlotte Flair, yeah.
So Charlotte Flair, Knoxville.
That's it.
And then that was it, right? Yeah. So I think you were 2 for 6 or 7.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
That's not too bad. You had no concept. You haven't even watched. You don't even watch wrestling. That's pretty good. Come on.
Yep. We used to watch Monday Night Raw sometimes.
You used to watch Monday Night Raw?
Yep, we don't have time for that now. I got All American to watch.
Yeah,
You
whatever.
don't like All American.
I don't watch All American.
All
My sister watches it.
Yep, it's a good show.
You should talk to her about it. Do you like my new hat? I got a Rockies hat.
It is good.
Do you like
See,
the 42 patch on the
I
side?
didn't even call you out about that because when I talked about the Rockies, you said you even had their hat on. You can't be a traitor.
Well, I have a hat collection, so it's a little different.
Yes.
But, and I love, one of my favorite players of all time played for the Rockies, Larry Walker.
Okay.
So I love Larry Walker. So I had to support Larry Walker.
All right.
Because a lot of people don't
Are you ready?
support Larry Walker.
Are you ready for my special section?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to give it's a two-parter. The first part's an easy one. I'd like to give a Wardle update. A Wardle update.
Oh, you've been keeping track of our scores?
It's already on there. You just need to go to the website. Okay? I am 18-2. Gives me a 90% winning percentage. And I've had 2 streaks of 7 in a row. Right now I'm on one.
Do you want me to check mine?
Yeah, where's your thing?
All right. I didn't realize we were doing this.
I know, it's a surprise. It's why it's a special section, right?
Oh my. I'm getting cooked.
It took us both 6 tries today, and we got it. And it took us both 6 tries.
Rosario. It was Rosario yesterday,
It
wasn't
was Rosario yesterday. Today it was.
I love him. And Rosario.
I am now a Candelario of Detroit.
Stats. All right. Win percentage. What is yours?
Mine is 90.
Yeah, 42. My current streak is 2. I try really hard to really think about it, and I really should just look up, what their lineup is.
Once I get to a narrow, this is what I always do. I don't know how your system is. This is my system. Every day I start with Joey Votto. I never change.
Yep.
Okay, and then I try to narrow down the division and then go to the team.
I
And then
start with
figure
Trout,
out-
and if it's an AL, if it says AL West in yellow, then I'll do Votto, and then if that means, you see what I'm saying?
I see, but you're going to NL Central. Yeah, I heard you just go to NL West.
Sorry, no, I didn't want to say it.
I mean-
if AL West, I have a system.
Yes.
So I try to get the divisions, then I try to get the teams. So what I'll do.
But your system only got 42% of win.
Yeah, listen to my system. I'll tell you my system. So Trout, I do Trout.
Yeah.
Trout first. If AL West is yellow, then I'll kick it to Tatis, or I'll just do a random AL player I think in my head
Yes.
to see if it's either the West is the division or the AL's league. Then if it's right about if the West was correct or if Then once I figure out the division, I start working through the teams. That is where I usually get tripped up, though, is that I usually don't pick the right teams. So, yeah, that's my problem. And then on top of that, I get oh, I can get this. And then I really should just look up who the third pitcher on the Rangers is instead of trying to remember. I really should just look it up. But I smoke Podol. I mean, I'm a god at the NBA one. I've had multiple instances.
Well, I figured I thought you were bigger MLB, but that's me.
Bigger MLB fan?
Yeah.
No, I'm big both, but I think it's a little easier for me to memorize all the NBA players because there's hundreds less. I mean, MLB, everybody 40-man rosters. I mean, come on. Yeah. Here's my Podol stats: 19 games played, 57 win percentage,
which is better than what you have on the MLB by 15 percentage points. So there we go. All right, second part. I want a little quiz for you. Let's see if you can get this non-sports TV mode here. All right.
Okay, switching.
3 shows.
Okay.
3 shows to end their runs, number 1 in the Nielsen ratings.
Nielsen? Who's that?
It's the ratings for the most millions watched.
Oh, okay, yeah. Seinfeld.
Yes.
Friends. MASH. Dang it. I thought those were good picks.
Those were good picks.
Dang it. They all sitcoms?
Not modern day. It is a modern day post 1990.
Are any of them post 1990?
Well, obviously Seinfeld was. But
yes.
The 2? No.
Okay, so they're both okay. I'm trying to think. Big shows in the 60s and 70s.
What about the 50s?
I really thought about MASH. It's not the Honeymooners.
No, it's not the Honeymooners.
It's I Love Lucy?
Yes, that's another one.
Thank you. My grandma used to have these old DVDs of really old shows and had I Love Lucy and the Honeymooners and Brady Bunch.
Bewitched.
Yep.
Liz Montgomery.
Yeah, so I watched some Honeymooners. And then Taxi was on there. It's obviously that's younger than those shows. Mm-hmm. Is Taxi one of the... No, I don't think Taxi's one of the shows.
No,
okay.
It's not.
You started getting excited. I was like, whoa, what? Okay. I don't think Happy Days. I'm definitely not thinking Happy Days. Big shows from that time. Twilight Zone.
Nope.
Dang it. That ended kind of abruptly, didn't it? Crap, I am struggling. Quinn, can I call for a hint?
Yes. Okay. It's in the 60s.
Okay. That's it?
That's the first hint.
Witness.
No.
What's not the...
You want a second hint?
Andy Griffith.
Yes, it's Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
All right,
I pulled that one out of nowhere.
And they ended number 1 at the end without Don Knotts even being on the show because he leaves after season 5.
He does?
Yes.
I never got that far.
Him and Thelma Lou. So.
What about Bonanza?
Wasn't the top, but Ponderosa. That's the place.
I used to watch Bonanza a lot when I was younger, and then now that I'm older, I prefer Magnum P.I. So I've kind of changed my ways.
Well, that's definitely 2 different eras, so that's...
Well, they're kind of similar styles, though. It's the 1 hour... We have a problem, we must fix it, now we're gone, and you'll never hear of this again.
I see.
Similar to the style of Law & Order.
Yeah, well, Law & Order is better. That's just all.
I like Magnum P.I.
I hear you.
I like the theme music.
I know. You're a big Tom Selleck fan.
I am. And you know what movie I went and watched and I really freaking liked? Now, you know what? I should save that for the post. You go.
Okay. Happy time, people. And before that, we got to have a commercial break.
Their greatest aspiration carry historic implications. A tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS.
You almost forgot the commercial break.
It's time to get happy, people. Happy 57th birthday last Friday, Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson was the point guard at St. John's University during the Chris Mullin years in the 1980s. He played 17 seasons in the NBA and retired with the 5th most career assists. After that, he coached the Golden State Warriors in the early Steph Curry and Klay Thompson days before being let go in favor of Steve Kerr. And now has been hired by ESPN in 2015 to become... since 2015 and has been a color commentator for NBA games. Anything to say about Mark Jackson there?
I actually really enjoy his color commentary.
I think it's a good partnership between Breen, Van Gundy, and him.
Yeah, no, I think they do well. I think overall, I think basketball commentary is the one that people get the least angry about. I think football, people tend to get really mad at because they feel like this guy just says the same thing all the time, which is kind of true.
Hey, I just want to think about this too. Now, he probably could still do this because of commentating, but Joe Buck is now going to Monday Night Football on ESPN. Are they going to allow him? Is he going to start calling baseball games for ESPN, or will he stay at Fox with that contract there? That'll be a good question.
No.
So there you go. But then you lose him from that. You lose him from the MLB World Series. You get a better person, maybe.
Maybe they. Where's Veskurja going? He's my favorite.
I don't know.
I love Veskurja. You know I love Veskurja.
I know.
Well, if I get, I mean,
like Buster Only.
yeah. No, yeah. I mean,
I like Tim Kirchkin.
He's fine too. I'll take Iron Eagle.
You and Iron Birdman.
Yeah. I don't.
Hi.
What's wrong with Eagle? I like
Nothing's
Eagle.
wrong with Eagle.
You know who's one of my favorites for any sport? If you're saying you need to call a college game, you know who I want?
Who?
Gus Johnson. Any sport.
I figured you wanted Jim Nance because
Any college sport, I want Gus Johnson. He's the best for college.
Really?
Yep. My favorite college commentator. For a play-by-play. Now,
Okay.
you want color for basketball? I'm taking Dick Vitale. Just for the feels. Because, come on. Unbelievable, baby! It's awesome, baby!
That's how it is. Kentucky fans hate him. Happy anniversary, John Wooden. Near this day, 47 years ago, the Wizard of Westwood won his 10th national championship in 12 years over Kentucky, 92-85, thanks to Kevin Greavy's game high of 34 points. John Wooden's career is broken up into two parts. First, the years where he did not win any championships, the first 13, and then the first 15, and the last 12 where he won several. And started with Gail Goodrich. And if you don't remember, the freshman could not play here, so Lou Alcindor would have missed the first one there with Gail Goodrich, but the second one, he was there, and he won 3 straight. And then it was closed with Bill Walton, who also won back-to-back before his 1975 championship. Nobody ever become close to Wooden, even though Gino Auriemma on the women's side has mirrored somewhat of his career.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what we talked about we talked about Rupp, Wooden.
Adolph Rupp, yeah.
It was Rupp, Wooden, Dean Smith, Coach K, blank. Right? Maybe it's Hubert.
Not enough yet.
No, I'm kidding, but I'm just saying. What we can see?
Yep, we can always see. And happy trails to the Duke Blue Devils this past week. They were beat out by their rival, North Carolina, in the Final Four on Saturday, effectively ending the Coach K retirement tour. Coach K did go up to Armando Bacot afterwards and said that he did vote for him for Player of the Year in the ACC. So that is very telling.
Coach K is a good dude like that.
Somewhat, yes. So
Somewhat.
And then also a melancholy trails to Estelle Harris. The actress died at 93 years old this past weekend. She is known for her roles on Seinfeld as Estelle Costanza, George's mom, Toy Story as Mrs. Potato Head, and Sweet Life of Zack and Cody as Muriel. Her frantic panic as comedy is what brought overwhelming joy to the cast she was on. Rest in peace to Estelle, serenity now, and sanity later.
Well, now her and Frank are reunited.
Yes, Jerry Stiller just died last year. Yes.
Yeah, 2 icons. I mean, I forgot that she was Miss Potato Head, and then when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, she's great in that too.
Yeah.
And then obviously Zack and Cody. I mean,
Yes.
those are 3
I'm
iconic
not cleaning
roles.
that up.
Yeah, 3 iconic roles right here.
Yes,
So yeah,
most definitely.
I know she's no Mr. Mosby. That's my favorite from Zack and Cody.
Mosby.
I love Mosby,
He's a joke sometimes.
but no, she's great in Seinfeld. Her and Frank are like, I think, the 2 best reoccurring side characters, arguably.
I thought you liked Banya.
I don't like Banya. Pud's the one I like.
You
Banya's
like
a dork.
It's gold, Jerry.
I like Pud.
Gold.
I like Puddy.
I know you like
Puddy's
Puddy.
funny. I feel like I can hang out with Pud.
You'd hang out with Newman too. Don't admit that. You should like the male.
No, you see, I feel like I do hang out with Newman. His name's Quinn.
Oh, hold on. I'm Jerry.
I know that. I'm messing with you. But you get the Newman laughing at your own jokes, and you get a little.
I do not.
You just laughed at your own joke a moment ago.
Joke. I didn't even laugh at the joke. I'm laughing at you telling me that I'm.
Okay. Well, Maybe I'll buy you the little statue of Newman since I have the one of Jerry.
I'll pass. I'll give it right back to you.
No, I will say, you made me think of the episode of Seinfeld and Jerry's like, well, I am very clean. You know what I'm talking about? Then not there's anything wrong with that episode. So, I guess you're probably a lot more clean than Newman. Newman's a bit of a...
He had fleas.
Yeah.
And gave him to Jerry.
Yeah, you're right. I think my buddy Merrick definitely mirrors Pud, though.
Okay.
What's wrong with that one?
I see him being more of a George.
A George and
Actually,
AJ.
I rule it out. He's tall. Kramer.
That's not bad. That's
see?
not bad. That's not bad.
See, there I am. All right, are you ready for the big finish?
Yes.
All right, don't forget, we're alternating questions here. Can you handle that? I'm throwing A to you, you throw B to me.
Well, then how are we going to compete?
We're not competing here. We just got some questions. Except on letter F.
Yes, I
Are you
understand.
ready?
Yes.
Here we go. And
You got to get the timer set up.
we're into the big finish. Now.
Well, then the only one we share is F.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Last week, Frank Reich said that Carson Wentz, Prince Harry can still play at a high level. Is that significant?
He loves this boy. He's so mad they got rid of him. That's his guy. That's hilarious. But no, the Commanders are really upset they missed out on the Russell Wilson sweepstakes. Or the potential Baker Mayfield sweepstakes.
Yes, it has been traded.
Or the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. I don't know. The Commanders are just the Commanders. Long live the Washington football team.
Yes.
Makes sense for New Orleans Saints to swap picks with the Philadelphia Eagles.
They must be going for somebody high. They got in return the 16th and 19th pick of this year's draft, but they gave away two high picks next year. So it'll be interesting to see what they're trying to draft here. The Memphis Grizzlies are 20-2 without John Moran. How crazy is that?
This is starting to make me think about maybe they're a legit contender instead of being a dark horse. I think the Cavs are falling out of the dark horse conversation I had them in. I think the Grizzlies are becoming legit contenders. Maybe they are going to be in the finals. I mean, that's depth is what matters in the playoffs. So yeah, that's definitely a good sign. So DK Metcalf says he eats one meal, one coffee, and 3 or 4 bags of candy. I saw this every day. You on that diet, Quinn?
Well, I'd say I'm pretty close because I definitely eat candy every day, just not 3 or 4 bags.
And you look just like DK Metcalf.
Well, I mean, I'm getting there.
You could be an Olympic athlete.
I try to be. He was a wannabe one, too. The Patriots have not deemed an offensive or defensive coordinator. As Belichick says, he is not big on titles. You agree with that?
Well, he has 6 of them, so I don't know why he says that.
Exactly. So there you go. And who you got? You got tonight.
I'm really proud of that joke. I just improvised it. I'm very proud of myself.
Who you got? You got the Kansas Jayhawks and North Carolina Tar Heels.
I said it earlier. I'm going Jayhawks.
Yes, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. That's how it's going to be tonight. Shout outs here.
Yeah, so this movie was not even. I know it's 9:14. We're gonna wrap it up so we can go watch a game. But this movie that I went and saw wasn't even on my most anticipated movies of the year. And it's probably, I don't know, this year's very stacked with movies. But I'm not even going to lie.
It's catching up from the pandemic closing.
Yes. And I'm not going to lie. I think it's got a good chance to be in my top 5 by the end of the year. Watched this movie. It was like an 8.5 for me. I really liked it. I'm definitely going to get it on DVD when it comes out.
Can I get a title?
The Lost City with Sandra Bullock.
Really?
Daniel Radcliffe.
It was that good?
Channing Tatum. I really liked it. It really worked for me. Because when I went and saw Jungle Cruise, my girlfriend was like, oh, I really liked this. And I think the Rotten Tomatoes is like a 60 or 70, I think.
Well, if it's above 60, that's when I watch you. That's how the rule is.
So
comedies are 40.
Yeah. And it's kind of a comedy.
75%. So
that's pretty good. It is a comedy. It is like 30% rom-com, 40% action, 30% straight-up comedy. That's kind of
action-adventure comedy film is what it says.
Yes, with some elements of rom-com. It's very fun. Like, when we went and saw Jungle Cruise, my girlfriend's like, oh, I really liked that. And I was like, I feel like I've seen better versions of this before. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I've watched Indiana Jones. Like, I've watched better versions of this style. Mm-hmm. And so when I went and saw Uncharted, I was like, this is incredibly average. National Treasure is so much better than this. I mean, because it went in at least a different direction than just copying Indiana Jones and being a worse version of it. Mm-hmm. You got to do something interesting if you're going to do the adventure style, because Indiana Jones already perfected the formula. So going into this, I was like, this might be pretty fun. Well, then, because the whole plot revolves around Sandra Bullock being a writer who is a big historical person. I know. And so a big historical person. I know we're running on time, but I think we'll be fine.
We're running out of show, folks.
We're fine. The big historical.
4 minutes.
Well, it's slowing me down by you interrupting me, okay? Okay?
Go.
So, you wanted to hear about this movie.
I did. I did, but I didn't want to. I thought I was only going to get it in 60 seconds.
Okay, I'm trying to speed it up. So because she's like a big historical writer, she sells a novel, doesn't sell very well, and then she starts writing like very schlocky romance novels, and those are a big hit. So it was very fun though because it played off your preconceived notions of what an adventure movie is going to be by playing off that, where it's like, yeah, her dashing man who comes to save her, Channing Tatum, is a complete wimp, and you think that's just going to be a gimmick and that's just going to be his bit the whole movie, but they actually develop him as a character, and like every character in this like has like legitimate motivations except for the surprise cameo by a certain actor, and he was in the trailers, so I'm going to say Brad Pitt. He obviously is the only one that isn't really a round developed character, but that's for a reason. He's kind of doing the fun cameo spot, and he's being overly cartoonish for a reason. I don't want to give away that much because it's very, especially with a comedy like this, you don't want to give away a lot because it's going to make the jokes hit less. I think anybody who went and saw it would really enjoy it. It's doing very well at the box office because it's hitting a demographic that hasn't been hit in a while at the theaters, which is a quality comedy with like kind of, for I would say, it's kind of not a family comedy.
When you say genre, not demographic.
It's hitting a demographic of
the public.
Yeah, I read an article. It was basically saying it's hitting a demographic of. They said women in their 20s and 30s are actually going to this movie a lot, along with men in their 30s and 40s, because they're going with their wives, their girlfriends, and that market hasn't been hit very well because Spider-Man was obviously more male-dominant audience, and they were saying this one actually hit with both genders, and they thought that was very good for. It's 18, Quinn. We might miss the first minute. I'm sorry.
I know, but I like to be there.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So I'm saying it's a movie that you felt like would have been a hit 15 years ago, and the fact that it's hitting with audience right now, making a good amount of money, makes me very happy because I'd like to see more movies like it. I think anybody who went and saw it would really enjoy it. I think it was really good. And every movie I've seen Channing Tatum in, I've really liked him in. So maybe he's actually kind of becoming an actor that I would just go watch any of his movies. So that's where my thank you goes out to, Channing Tatum. I've really been enjoying his movies. I didn't expect me to become a Channing Tatum fan, but I went and saw Dog, which was a pretty average movie, but he was good in it. And then I've always enjoyed him in 21 Jump Street. And then I've really liked him in this. And yeah, I actually haven't watched 22. I just never got around to it.
It's okay. It's good.
So,
it's good.
Yeah, I think if they do a sequel to this, I'd 100% go see it, and I think you should actually watch it. Like, I think it's really fun.
I might give it a chance.
It's really quality. I really liked it.
Okay. I'm just going to say I have really no thank yous or shout-outs tonight. We got 4 weeks left for this season, 4 weeks left, so just be prepared.
Oh, no.
When it ends.
Because it's what? It's
Yep.
It's NFL draft, and then the week after the draft, recap.
It's recap. Yep. So there it is. All right, we love you. We'll see you on the next podcast. Bye-bye. This is Quinn Maseko speaking for the Big Salad Podcast, a Ryan Klinger production. Please note that portions of this podcast were edited before the final cut was produced, and this episode was recorded on April 4th. The sections of Happy Time and Toss Up are copied from the ESPN show Pardon the Interruption, and the Masters commercials are copied from CBS. There was no intention to infringe on the copyrights of those segments and their related music. Stay tuned for our next podcast next Monday here on the Sports Courts Podcast YouTube channel.
That was fast because you want to go watch the game.
Yep, let's go.